Hi, this is Jeremy at 1LD, and this is a video tutorial on how to use the cleanCaps stack. Right now we're running version 1.2.1. I've already have a stack page created. I'm going to throw in a little divider here real quick just so we can separate the sections that we're creating in this video. I'm then going to drag a cleanCaps stack into the screen, and this is the one we'll be working from. As you can see, there's various sections over here. I'm just going to close them so we can look at them all at once, though we'll be touching on each of these in greater detail in a bit. We have the cleanCaps general controls, font controls, spacing controls, border controls, and text shadows. First, we're just going to open the general controls, but by default all these windows will be open. Here I can affect the drop-cap font size to something large or much smaller, but in this example I'm going to keep it somewhere around the middle where it started. I can also control line height and text size, which is the text inside this section, not the drop cap itself. So I'll make the text a little bit larger. And I can also control the text alignment, which is a handy feature because you can't do this by default in the backend of RapidWeaver at this time. So here I'm going to justify, or I take that back, you can control, but justifying is an option that you don't have. You can control the drop cap color. In this instance, let's make it blue. And you can control the background color as well. I'll show you what it looks like with this red background just so you can see you have control. Though most of the time you're probably going to want to check the transparent background, which gives it no color, and so just the regular background color you have on that section of your page will be shown. Next we're going to do font controls, and I'll minimize these general controls. The easiest and quickest to do, and also that will load fastest on your website, is just using the standard fonts. And I have all the basic standard font, web-safe fonts, so these will show in pretty much every device and browser and computer system out there. You have Georgia, Times New Roman, Arial Black, Courier New, Impact, Trebuchet, Verdana, and Comic Sans. In addition, I have installed some Google Web fonts. These are some that I like and use myself, and then I just threw in a few extra as well. I'll just do Lobster so you can see, and right now you can see we have a sizing issue, at least in the back end. So I'm going to open up the general controls again, and I am going to add some line height to this. And even then, it's still going out. It's cutting off right at the bottom there. We actually have control of this. We can add a little bit more. Let's add some padding on the bottom just so we are not getting cut off. And this you'll have to play around with at times because certain fonts will go well below and above or well below the baseline at times, which makes it a unique font, but also something that you'll have to control with the spacing. So let's go look at what we've created real briefly here. I'm going to scroll down, and there we go. We have, it took the first letter automatically, and we have it floating right there. If I wanted to import my own font, I could do that as well. I want to turn off the Google Web font, and I already have one I found on the internet real quick. It's in Google Web Fonts. We're just going to use this, I don't know how to pronounce that, but do quick use, scroll down. What we're going to want to do is copy the URL first. So I'm going to copy that, go back into RapidWeaver, and that's going to be our style sheet. Then I'm going to go back into Google Web Fonts, and now I'm just going to copy this, just the part that calls the name of the font and a backup font. And now we don't sometimes you don't see a change in the back end, but don't be alarmed if that happens. It will show when the site uploads, and sometimes not in preview mode. Let's see if this one shows in preview mode. It does show in preview mode. So everything is right in the world right now. We've got our font, a custom font that called in that was not included already built in. Well, let's say we want a font that is not a Google web font. We want our own custom web font. Fortunately, it's a little more complicated, but I will walk you through how to do that nonetheless. You can get these custom web fonts all over the internet, though one of my favorite places to go that offers high quality and most often free, commercial free custom web fonts is fontsquirrel.com. I recommend getting font face kits as they will include multiple font files so that they'll be more supported in different computers and browser screens. So you can go at font face kits and you'll see a large variety. There we go. A large variety organized by font type throughout the site. You can easily get the kit. You just simply click Get Kit, and it'll give you a zip file that you can unzip, and you can drag and drop those files either on your server somewhere, or you can place them in your resources. I've already selected one of these, and my files are right over here. This section is also covered in more detail in our manuals page, and actually will cover the font that I'm going to be demoing here, which again, it has a name I cannot pronounce. Let me go back to our screen. So these are our files right here. We have 4 different font file types, and I've also created I've dragged the style sheet in here. You'll be supplied this style sheet in FontSquirrel, and it'll have this code right here. The only thing we're concerned with right here is where it says font family, then colon space, apostrophe. This name right here is the only one that we're concerned with, and as long as you have the files and the style sheet with this code right here, that will work when we call it. So I have this snippet prepared for myself, and I'll go over it in detail. It starts with parenthesis resource. All this is on our manuals page 2 if you lose track. Parenthesis resource, open apostrophe, and all this is saying is, hey, go over to our resources section and grab the file that's in these parentheses, which in this case is right here, style sheet CSS. Then you close parentheses and add another percentage sign, and you're good. So now we got our style sheet live. Now we want the name of our font. So again, I'm going to take that name and I'm going to paste it right there. And we don't see it in the back end, but like I said before, just go to preview. We'll scroll down, and there we have the font that we uploaded. From there, I've already touched on padding and margins, which are very helpful if you need added space or want to control where or what direction your font moves in relation to the text. But I am now going to minimize that, and we're going to open up border controls. If you would, and actually just for ease of demoing, I'm going to close out the custom font, and I'm going to use a standard font, Georgia. Note that if you want to use these custom fonts, both the standard and Google Web Fonts do need to be turned off. So we're now using Georgia, and I'm going to add a border. I'm going to add a 1 pixel border that is solid, and it kind of looks funny, so let's take this off and we'll add a real light color to it. And the border is a little dark. I just want it to be real subtle, and maybe even more subtle than that. Okay, so now we have a real light border there. And I can control the border radius, which is the roundness of the corners, so I have it a little more rounded out now. And also, just so we can wrap up all these shadowing effects, if you like the shadow effect that I used up here on these, you can copy this. We'll do 2 pixels by 2 pixels by 1 pixel, and then I'm going to add 3, 3, and 0. And I'm going to make this one the color of the background. So I've just added two shadows, one that goes further than the other, and then made the one that's closer the same color as the background. So it kind of gives that that neat little effect where it looks like it's kind of popping out, or which you can easily do with these same numbers, and you can experiment and play around and come up with all sorts of different combinations. Text shadowing is not supported in older browsers, but it is a nice effect for many of the newer browsers. That wraps up the cleanCaps video tutorial. And if you have more questions, please contact our support or visit our manuals page.